Season 9 of Apex Legends introduced a brand new arena mode which pits two teams of 3 against one another. In a departure from the Battle Royale mode, it features a round-based format with a buying phase, played on smaller maps with a few strategic points of interest. Dominating the arena mode will take a different mindset and approach compared to what Apex Legends players are used to. At the end of every round, your equipment is reset and you have to buy it back from scratch. This makes managing your economy extremely important to winning the match overall. You won't always be able to buy your favorite weapons, as the costs can vary dramatically. For example, the R301 is extremely expensive at 600 materials for the base version, while the Havoc only costs 350. Considering the Havoc had its recoil buffed in the Season 9 patch, it's actually quite strong and very cheap. Certain weapons become more highly valued in the arena mode due to their unique characteristics and cost. Let's go over a few of the standout choices in each category. For pistols, shotguns and SMGs, the EVA 8 and RE45 are both only 250 credits and are quite potent. The RE45 usually needs a few of the cheap upgrades to really perform, but the EVA 8 on the other hand can still perform very well with no upgrades at all. The EVA 8, for that reason, is often a great secondary weapon to choose when you have some extra materials. The Mozambique is free and honestly isn't that bad anymore, considering it can now fire 6 times before reloading. If you're fighting up close with it, it functions very closely to the Wingman, so throw away any previous prejudice against the weapon and just give it a fair go. We'll also give an honourable mention to the Wingman here. Despite being quite expensive at 500 materials, it excels in the arena game mode as it has great poke damage potential at longer range, while still being a formidable weapon in close to mid-range combat. For assault rifles and LMGs, the Havoc and L-Star are outstanding choices. The newly buffed Havoc is extremely cheap, has great damage, and can be completely kitted for only 1200 materials. Most players completely ignore the L-Star in the Battle Royale mode and have limited experience controlling it, but it is a truly dominant weapon in the arena. Most rounds, players will only have the credits to afford one weapon. This means they often need to reload it mid-fight as they don't have a strong secondary to swap to. Properly controlling the heat on the L-Star lets you almost continuously fire it during a fight, without the downtime of reloading. It is also great at pre-firing angles where you suspect enemies will poke from, netting easy damage and making it very hard for the other team to get a shot in. The hardest part about controlling the L-Star is the initial recoil when firing it without any heat. The first few shots pull heavily to the left, so you need to compensate to the right with your mouse. After that, the recoil is almost completely vertical, which is easy to control. For snipers and marksman rifles, there are many good options, although the Sentinel really stands out. At only 400 materials, it comes with a 6x scope and doesn't really need the further upgrades to the better mag size and stock. The Sentinel excels in arena because it can let you poke shields or net an early knockdown with very little risk to the user. You only need to peek from cover for a moment to fire your shot before ducking back to safety. If you can afford some spare shield cells, charging up the weapon can demolish their shields and exhaust their meds before the real fighting even begins. Grenades can also be extremely useful in arena. Many fights feature teams facing off against one another, hiding and peeking from cover, until one team gets enough of an advantage to be able to push in. This relatively static gameplay can be exploited with the use of grenades. If you land a few shots on someone, chances are they'll simply duck behind their cover and start healing up. Thermites are perfectly precise and can easily punish people hiding behind their cover. Arc stars may not always do the damage, but throwing it behind or near their cover can force them to move out into the open. Frag grenades can be a little trickier to get consistent value out of them, but with some practice you can inflict devastating damage. Grabbing a grenade or two is often better than taking another weapon upgrade. A little tip worth mentioning is using these crates, which are scattered around most maps. Tall legends like Pathfinder and Gibraltar can see over these and head glitch their opponents. For reference, head glitching is a term for when you can only see the head of a player but they can still shoot you, as the bullets come from their camera and not the weapon itself. Medium-sized legends like Loba can only see over these crates if there is extra terrain at the base, like the snow on this side of Thermal Station. Trading shots against a head glitching opponent is rarely a good idea, so either nade or smoke out their position, or find a new angle to approach from. Each round will have some material canisters that provide 200 materials to all team members when activated, medical supply bins with 500 materials worth of supplies, and a crate drop with 3 different weapons. Collecting these bonuses goes a very long way towards developing your economy and ensuring you are better equipped than the opposing team. Avoiding fights and collecting these when it is safe to do so is an excellent overall strategy to employ for your match. Legends like Loba and Pathfinder can use their tactical ability to very quickly reach these points of interest before the other team can stop them. As Loba, for example, it can be quite viable to spend more materials on weapons and grenades and simply stock up on meds from an almost guaranteed medical supply bin. You may want to share these supplies with the team, but be careful about throwing them around when you have to group up and you've stopped holding your angles. If you are left in an unfavorable 1v3 or 2v3, it can be a good idea to completely abandon that fight and collect any remaining material canisters before the end of the round. This lets you get the most out of a bad situation, plus kiting away from the enemies can often lead to them abandoning their strong positioning and letting you have your last stand on your terms, increasing the chance of clutching out that round. High level arena is mechanically demanding. Positioning and strategy alone can't carry a team nearly as well as it does in the Battle Royale mode. Great aim and movement is key for taking down your opponents and minimizing the damage you take. We have specially curated clicking and tracking playlists for Apex in KovaaKs 2.0 that can greatly accelerate your aim gains, which we highly recommend checking out to supplement your arena gameplay. If you are also looking for something a little extra, target switching in particular is a highly prized skill to master in arena. Check out target switching scenarios like PAT TS90NR, Vox target switch, and 1 more 2 target small flick 60 seconds to get those flicks and switches nice and snappy. We hope you found this look at the new arena mode helpful. If you have any questions, comments, or tips of your own, please leave them in the comments below. Subscribe for more content like this, and we'll catch you in the next one.